how we can take care about the time management skill in a mock test or a CAT, and how we can build up the accuracy. Once you have gained the momentum, you have that much of confidence that will take you to the end of the section. I should be able to solve at least two complete sets minimum, using which or at which we are worthy enough to talk about this particular thing. Simple answer, 100% accuracy is the best. Hello friends. Now today in this session, we are going to talk about two very important things without which it is, I would say, if not impossible, but very difficult to achieve a success in any of the examination. And CAT is not a different examination. So friends, these are the two skills, I would say that skill or an art a lot of students talk about. They discuss it with other students, they discuss it with the faculty members, they discuss it with their mentors. So these particular things remain in the discussions, but actually a handful of students take efforts to work on these skills, and if you are working on these skills, you will definitely achieve success in your examination. So my dear friends, I'm talking about time management and accuracy skills. Now, these are the skills that you should work upon, because you cannot directly achieve all these things in the actual examination. So friends, now we have 3 months remaining for CAT 2025, and let's understand how we can take care about the time management skill in a mock test or a CAT, and how we can build up the accuracy that is required to achieve that particular score or targeted score that we require to clear the sectional cutoff of LRDI for CAT examination. Now, we'll be discussing both these things one by one. So first of all, how we can manage time and how we can then build up the accuracy. Now, we cannot directly apply, like I mentioned earlier, we cannot directly apply all these things in the actual CAT examination. So basically, we'll have to start with a practice in the mock examination, right? So if you understand how to manage time and you are able to improve with every mock exam, then you will be able to apply whatever you have learned in these mocks in CAT examination. Now friends, how to manage time? To answer this question, we'll have to answer 4 different questions. So you will be asking these particular things to yourself on and off every week, every 15 days, after every mock, before every mock. You will be asking yourself these particular things. So if I'm starting an LRDI section, so which question should I start with? What should be the first set I should begin with? This is one question that you ask to yourself. The second question is, which question should I attempt at the end of the LRDI section? So we are given only 40 minutes, right? So we have to efficiently divide whatever time we have in different parts so that we have a good start as well as good end. Sometimes it happens that we tend to waste 5 to 10 minutes at the beginning of the examination. Sometimes it may happen that we are left with last 5 minutes and we are unable to decide which type of question, which type of set should we start in these last 5 minutes. So we'll be talking about these two things. The next is idle time to spend on a set. So students in every class, they will ask me that, sir, what is the idle time to finish this particular type of question? So friends, it varies from like I would say topic to topic, area to area. Also, it varies from level of difficulty as well, right? So we'll talk about this as well. And finally, how many minutes should I, after how many minutes should I leave a set? Okay, this is a very important decision that we must take during the examination, right? So friends, let's talk about each of these things one by one. And this particular thing will help you in understanding the time management skill that is required for LRDI section of CAT 2025, right? Now, first question first, which question to start with? First question first. Okay, so which question should I start with? Which area should I start with? Should I start my LRDI section with logical reasoning? or should I start with data interpretation? Should I start with an area in which I am very strong so that I'll finish all those questions first, and then at the end I'll be left with all the areas in which I am weak? Or should I go with a question which is a little more lengthy so that I'll finish the difficult questions first and I'll be left with the easier ones to end with? So friends, very simple thing. You should be starting with an area or a topic in which you are most comfortable, right? This should be your strength at the beginning of the examination. Why? Because the first 5 minutes are very important to gain the momentum in the examination, right? And once you have gained the momentum, you have that much of confidence that will take you to the end of the section, right? So, which question should I start with? Which area should I start with? A simple answer is your strength. You should start with your strength, right? Now, this strength can be in logical reasoning. This can be in data interpretation. If your strength is logical reasoning, so it can be any topic of logical reasoning. It may be arrangements and distribution. It may be roots and networks. It may be games and tournaments, or it can be any of the other areas of logical reasoning. If I'm strong in data interpretation, if I'm good with calculations, so yes, I should be starting this section with a question of data interpretation. Now in data interpretation, we don't have bifurcations as such. The data is given. The data can be given in any of the forms, right? So if the data is very complex, then I should refrain. I should stay away from that kind of question. It's not that I will be able to do each and every type of question in data interpretation. Also understand that after such a long preparation, after spending so much of time in our preparation, it's not that we have or we are entering the examination hall with only a single strength area, right? So we'll be having different topics in our strength and very few topics which are our weaknesses, right? So it is very easy to basically reject a set on the basis of our weak areas. So we have a very few weak points. So on the basis of these weak points, let's say I'm weak in arrangements and distributions, which a lot of students are. So I'm weak in arrangements and distributions, and I'm not that good in games and tournaments. So apart from these two topics, I'm left with a lot of topics in logical reasoning and plenty of things in data interpretation to start with, right? So if I find any of these areas in which I am strong at, or I'm not weak in those areas, then I can start my section with that type of question, right? Also, another parameter which I can use to start with the set at the beginning of this section is the length, how complex the data is, right? So if you have so many instructions, so let's say if the instruction set is a 10 liner or a 15 liner, or there are 15 bullet points in the instructions, then number of instructions, that means you have a lot of data to handle with, and you will require time to at least read all this data. So obviously you will consume a lot of time in handling this set. So what I'll say is, if the length of the set is very long, then in that case you can give a second priority and just look for the sets which looks easy, which looks small, and which are in your strength areas, right? So this is the first thing that you can start with. Now the question is, which question should I end with? Now, to end a section, as such, we don't require a plan. So I'll not keep a particular set of question so that I can end my section with that question. No, it cannot be done, right? So you can leave it on God, fine. And if let's say you are in a dilemma, so I'll tell you what the dilemma can be. So if you are in a dilemma, then no need to bother the people up there or the God up there. Fine. So I can resolve this problem right now. Okay. So the dilemma can be, I'm left with last 5 minutes. Okay. And two sets are remaining. Okay, now one belong to data interpretation, one belong to data interpretation, and the other one belong to logical reasoning. Then it's a very simple, straightforward choice. So I'm left with 5 minutes. Now we have a very simple understanding that in case of logical reasoning, we need to crack the entire set before we start answering the questions. But in case of data interpretation, you don't require to crack the entire set. Okay. And just after analyzing the data for 30 seconds or maximum 1 minute, you can directly jump onto the questions wherein almost all the questions are independent of each other, right? So the obvious choice is in the last 5 minutes, I must go for a DI set rather than going for a logical reasoning set. All right. Now, if the dilemma is I'm left with two sets of logical reasoning, now what to do? Then we can just have a look at the length of the passage, the length of the data, the complexity of the data, which one looks easier, whichever looks attractive, you can go ahead and solve that. Okay, now since this is the last set that you will be attempting, also you can have a look at the strength or the weakness that you have, right? So obviously towards the end, I'll not be left with any of the sets which fall in my strength areas. So obviously, there are higher chances that the set I'm left with will be from my weaker areas. So now you can have an analysis which of these areas I am more weak or less weak. Fine. So just analyze this, compare these two areas, and just take the name of God and start solving that set. But a very obvious choice among LR and DI, you should be going with DI set at the end of the section, right? Now moving on to the third question, the ideal time to spend on a set. Now, there is no such number for that, right? So I cannot say that you must finish a set in 8 minutes, you must finish a set in 12 minutes or 15 minutes, and so on and so forth. Ideally, let's say if my target is somewhere around 95 percentile in CAT, right? Now, obviously, you cannot target a percentile. You should be targeting as much as possible. But let's say if I'm targeting 95 percentile, hypothetically, okay. So in that case, I should be able to solve at least at least two complete sets minimum. It can be either two sets or more number of sets, right? So that gives me somewhere around, on an average, 15 minutes to spend on one set. There are sets which you will be able to finish in less than 10 minutes. There are some sets which you will be able to finish in more than 15 minutes, right? Now, not every time we will sail comfortably in CAT examination in every set. Okay, so it may happen that you end up losing 4 to 5 minutes because you are confused in the selection of the set, right? You selected a set, but you decided to leave that set. You may waste 4 to 5 minutes in that. So we can say that on an average, right? It's not compulsorily for every set individually, but on an average, if you are able to finish a set in 12 to 15 minutes, then it's good. All right. At this speed, you will be able to attempt at least 2.5 sets. That means around 12 to 13 questions, which will easily land you somewhere in the percentile range of 95 to 100 percentile. All right, fine. Now, if your speed is much better than that, if you are lucky enough to select the first two sets which you can complete in less than 12 minutes each, and at the end of 25 minutes you already have two complete sets in your pocket, then in the next 15 minutes you can complete one more set, and that will take you towards 99 plus percentile in CAT examination, right? Now, one last question to answer is, how many minutes should I leave a set after it? Okay, so in how many minutes, like after spending how many minutes, I should take a decision that fine, I'm no longer comfortable in this set, I should come out from this set, right? So the answer of this question is again not quantitative, but as soon as you realize that you are nowhere in that set, you must come out. So the answer is as soon as possible. If you'll take a decision that I'm unable to understand the directions, I'm unable to create the table, I'm not sure about the structure of the table or the structure of the question, right? And fine, I have wasted enough time, I should come out. Yes, this is the time to come out. Do not get confused. Do not remain confused. Just take a decision immediately and come out of that set. So once you have the first feeling that fine, yeah, I'm unable to go ahead in this set, that is the time, that is the moment you must come out of that set and move on to the next set. Also, whatever rough work that you have done for this set which you are unable to complete, just preserve that rough work. Okay, don't do anything else on that rough sheet. Especially for LRDI questions, you must use a separate sheet of paper for every question, right? So don't attempt two sets on a single sheet, right? So if you are starting a set, start with a new sheet, right? Now, as far as the number of sheets is concerned, you can take any amount of rough sheets in the examination hall. So one sheet for one set in LRDI section, that's it. So if you are leaving a particular set in between, so don't do anything else on that rough sheet, because it may be possible that after another 20 minutes, you will come back to this set and you will require whatever rough work you have done as a reference to begin that set once again. All right. So friends, these are the steps, these are the things that you can do to manage your time during a mock examination and in CAT examination. Understand one thing, that you will have to practice, you will have to apply all these things during mock papers. Then only you will be able to apply all these things in CAT. Now comes the second thing, how to take care about the accuracy, right? Now friends, accuracy, time management can be done easily, right? You can work on that, but accuracy is one challenging thing, right? Now, this is one thing not everybody will be able to achieve. So once again, to understand how to maintain accuracy or how to increase our accuracy, we need to answer three questions, right? Now, which topics, areas to practice, right? So first of all, we need to identify the areas, we need to identify the topics in which we are strong at, and then we'll be able to maintain our accuracy or increase our accuracy. How many sets we need to practice before CAT examination, so that in CAT examination we are worthy enough to secure a particular accuracy in the exam. And finally, how much accuracy is actually good? 60% accuracy, 70% accuracy. Obviously, 100% accuracy is the best, but there is a catch in this. Okay, there is a definite catch here, right? So, first thing first is, to maintain accuracy, we should be able to reach a level, a certain level, right? Using which or at which we are worthy enough to talk about this particular thing, right? Okay. Now, how to achieve that level? How to achieve that level of accuracy? It's not a matter of 1 or 2 days. It's not a matter of 1 or 2 weeks. It's a matter of practice for whatever time you are left with, right? So, more amount of practice you will do, the more accuracy you will achieve. Now, understand what is accuracy. Accuracy is not only about attempting the questions correctly. It's also about not attempting anything incorrectly. So, accuracy will be increased if you will increase the number of correct questions. Also, if you will reduce the amount of the questions that you are attempting incorrectly, right? So, to increase accuracy, first of all, we should be working on our mistakes. So, this is the first point all about. Which areas, which topics I need to focus on, right? Now, this is the month of September. You all must have started with your test series. You must be writing practice papers at the end of every week, right? So you must be going through a lot of practice tests, be it in the form of online practice test on the portal of MBA Wallah on every weekend about the topics which are covered during the week. It can be any topic test. It can be any of the mock tests that you are writing. Now, every test that you are writing is incomplete without a proper analysis of that test, right? Now in analysis, I have repeated this particular thing many times, what you should be doing. I'll do it once again. So during the analysis of any test, be it a half an hour test, be it a 1 hour test, be it a sectional test, be it a full length mock test, right? Whatever is the duration of the test, spend an equal amount of time, maybe more amount of time during the analysis of the test, and work on three different things. Number one, the questions that you have attempted incorrectly. Okay, reason out why you have attempted them incorrectly. Is there any calculation error? Is there any conceptual error? Or you did not know anything about the area, the topic, the concept, and you just attempted that question. So reason it out. Okay. Then second type is the questions which you have left unattempted. So once again, reason it out. Why you have not attempted these questions? Because of lack of time, because of the lack of the understanding of the concept, because the question was lengthy. So reason it out. And finally, also look at the questions which you have attempted correctly. Now, why am I looking at the questions which I have attempted correctly? What's the requirement? What's the need? So the need is, find out the time that you have taken to attempt that question. Okay, so if let's say you have taken 4 to 5 minutes and the other students can finish it in less than 1 minute, that means there is some problem. So we are using a very lengthy concept, or we are not thorough with something, right? We are wasting some time, because of which we are unable to attempt the other questions, right? So this comes in time management. Okay, so doing this will help you in time management, right? And now once the analysis is over, now you will be able to find out your strengths and weaknesses. Now these are the topics or areas under your weaknesses that you should start practicing, right? I am attempting the questions wrongly. Okay, I am making a lot of mistakes in these questions. So if I'll reduce the number of mistakes, automatically my accuracy will be improved. All right, fine. So these are the topics or the areas that you should start working on, which you will find after a proper analysis of any of the tests that you are now attempting till 30th of November, right? Okay. The second point, how many sets should I practice every day before CAT examination, right? Now, friends, again, the answer is not quantitative. I would say that as many sets as you can, right? So if you will attempt one set every day, if you'll practice only one set every day, so in the next 3 months, you will be able to practice only 90 sets. On the other hand, if your friend is practicing 2 sets every day, so I would say that the improvement that your friend will have will be more than what improvement you will have, or it will be almost double, right? So you are practicing only one, you will be able to finish 90 sets. Your friend is practicing daily 2 sets, then your friend will be able to do 180 sets till CAT examination. 180 quantitatively, right? It's double of 90. So your friend will have double the improvement that you will be having. Okay. Now, if you'll practice 3 sets or 4 sets or 5 sets on daily basis, you can calculate the amount of improvement that you will be having vis-a-vis a student who will be practicing only 1 or 2 sets in a day. So my advice is, since the section of logical reasoning data interpretation will be having either 4 or 5 sets, as we have seen in the last 4-5 years. So either 4 or 5 sets. So you must practice either 4 or 5 sets on daily basis. Now, from where will you get these sets? So you have your practice material, you have your DPPs, you have your practice tests, you have your sectional tests. So let's say today you have attempted one complete sectional test of LRDI. Now, sectional test will have 4 to 5 sets. So yes, your homework for the day is completed. Okay. So if you have attended a class in which you have solved 2 sets, after the class you have solved the DPP in which you have attempted 3 to 4 sets. Yes, your homework for the day is completed. Okay, right? So every day minimum 4 to 5 sets must be practiced. If you have time to practice more, if you have energy to practice more, if you have the dedication in yourself to practice more, then you are most welcome. You will be getting a return as like in the form of your marks, your percentile in CAT examination, right? Now, friends, last thing, how much accuracy is good? So, simple answer, 100% accuracy is the best. Okay, but 100% accuracy with lesser number of attempts, right? So accuracy vis-a-vis number of attempts, this should be balanced, right? So if I am attempting more number of questions and if I'll compromise a little bit in my accuracy, then it is also fine, right? So ideally in CAT examination, what we say is, if you are able to attempt 14 to 15 questions with an accuracy of around 80 to 90 percentage range of accuracy. You cannot target 80% accuracy, you cannot target 82% accuracy. So accuracy is somewhere around 80 to 90. Or I'll increase the bracket here. So if you are able to attempt 13 to 15 questions, attempt 13 to 15 questions with an accuracy of 80 to 90, then that is decent. That is good. I'm not saying this is the best, this is the excellent, and it will get you 99 percentile or 100 percentile. But if during the mocks you are able to achieve this particular thing, then in CAT you will be able to definitely get a wonderful score in LRDI section. So yes, accuracy of 100% will be best, but if you will fall anywhere in this range, then that is also good, right? So friends, these are some tips you can use to maintain your accuracy or to increase your accuracy during the mocks or the CAT examination, right? So friends, start working on these tips. All the very best for your mock examinations, all the very best for everything that you do up till or till 30th of November in the CAT examination. We all will be with you. All our wishes will be with all of you. And you will be seeing us more and more during these days of your CAT preparation. All the very best.